How's it going, guys and girls? This is Ketchup and Mustard here once again, and welcome to a new series of videos we're going to be making for you in the form of instructional tutorials for Mortal Kombat X. We've had a lot of people approach us and ask, how do I bridge that gap between a casual level of play into that more advanced level, that advanced world of Mortal Kombat, playing the game based on the mechanics? Fundamentally, how do I become a good player of the game? This is where these videos come into play. We're going to be covering a whole bunch of different areas for the game, and this is for the purpose of new players that are really trying to step into the world of competitive MK. This first video is going to be how to generally get started, how to pick the character that you want to play, deciding the kind of playstyle that you want to adapt, and in general, what do you do when you play the game for the first time. Hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. Please stick around, like and subscribe for more content. There are many of these videos to come. We're going to get stuck in to how to start off in Mortal Kombat X. So before we get started, I'd really like to address some Mortal Kombat terminology that we will be using frequently and have been using in previous videos. It's essentially the face buttons for an Xbox One controller and a PlayStation 4 controller, and what we refer to each attack as. So, as follows. When it comes to the Xbox One pad, X is 1, Y is 2, A is 3, and B is 4. These are your attacks referred to as numbers for the sake of both consoles being able to understand what each attack move is called. On a PlayStation 4 controller, square is 1, triangle is 2, X is 3, and circle is 4. It's worth remembering this because basically everyone that refers to a combo or an attack will call the attacks these numbers. So throughout these videos, please keep this terminology in mind, and it will make your life a lot easier for future videos. Let's get stuck into some training mode. So first things first, we are going to go straight into training mode because that is easily the best way to understand what new characters can do and to just test out some of the moves and the variation specific stuff. So how do you decide who it is that you want to play? Because fundamentally it all boils down to what character you're playing. So think about the archetypes fighting games have. Some characters excel from full screen, Katana, Quan Chi in certain variations. It's all about staying away from them. But then you've got characters like Kung Lao, Liu Kang, who excel really point blank, rushing the opponent down. Or if you don't know what you're looking for in any archetypes, then think about what character you like playing, because I personally find it's easier to use a character that you like the look of or that you just like as a character. So I'm going to pretend that for argument's sake, I don't understand what the mechanics are, and I'm just going to play Sub-Zero because I like Sub-Zero as a character and I want to get better with him specifically. So I'll chuck him in his Cryomancer variation, and we'll just pick someone who has good defensive options to test against. So we'll go for Kung Lao, and we'll get started with some gameplay. So as soon as you load into training mode, you want to get a quick feel of how the character plays. The easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is to go into your moves list and then go over to your universal special attacks. Now you can press 2 ahead of any of these attacks and highlight them. So when you go back into gameplay, you just have them there on the screen. So if I go back into the gameplay here, you can see those moves up in the top corner. This is very important for training mode because it just saves you a lot of time and it's very convenient. So there's 3 universal moves here. His Ice Burst, which is down away 1, his Ice Ball, which is down towards 2, and his Slide, which is away towards 4. So you can see from these 3 moves that Slide gives him a lot of mobility, Ice Ball gives him a lot of combo damage potential, and the Ice Burst is a very good defensive move. So he covers a lot of ground with just his universal moves itself. So if you like the feel of those, the next thing you want to do is look into your combo strings, which are in your combo list here. Combo strings are typically 2 to 4 sequential button presses to string together some good damage and some good quick attacks. Now you can highlight these as well. You can highlight up to 6 moves at any point in training. So I'll highlight a quick selection of 6 here. So that's 4, I'll go 5, 6, why not? So I can see them up there. So I'm just going to try these out because combos are not the most important, but they do set how the character will feel and get most of their damage in the long run. So I'm going to try these out so I can see he's got a lot of quick, high, lows, overheads, all that sort of cool stuff. It's got a nice launcher here, so it looks like I can follow up from that. Have a look at this one here. Okay, that knocks him on the floor, and this one here, 3 hits and it knocks him on the floor again. So I like these moves. I've decided I like how these feel, I like how they position me, I like how I can space them, I like the timing, and I like the special moves. So I can see that I can do that, and then maybe that'll set for that. Yes, it will. So I like this. Now it's time for me to decide what variation I want to play, because that is equally as important. So once you've decided that you're comfortable with a character's base attacks, it's time to look into the variation specific stuff, because this is where it gets very interesting. I'm in Cryomancer Sub-Zero right now, so I'm going to go into my moves list, and I'm going to go over to the variations tab on the right.
all of these attacks that are highlighted in yellow are variation specific moves. So I've already highlighted a bunch of them just for convenience, but you can do the same here just by pressing 2 over them in the same way you did before. So I can see that all these attacks are specific to Cryomancer, so I'm going to try them out. His upward sword, his uppercut, uses the sword now, so that looks like it's got a lot more range to it. Throat slice, 3-hit string, gets a sword, launches the opponent in the air. Okay, that's good. Quick slice, quick 3-hit punch. Yep, slacks the opponent in the air. Cold-blooded, let's try that out. Normally this throws the opponent. Now he's standing in place. Frost hammer, down away 2. 12%, chunky overhead, and I can do it in the air as well. So I'm getting the sort of vibe from this. This is a very aggressive version of Sub-Zero because it gives him a lot more combo potential and a lot of damage. So this might be, worth keeping in mind if you like aggressive play. Let's try out the others now. Let's go into Unbreakable Sub-Zero.
When it comes to Unbreakable Sub-Zero, this will take the entire game plan and somewhat flip it on its head. So we get 2 new special moves. It is just 2, contrary to the extra moves you get in Cryomancer, but there's a good reason for this. We're going to go into the Variation tab and notice there are 2 new moves. There are 4 technically, but they're just the meter burn versions. We'll go into meter burn in the next video. So we have them selected already. Again, press 2 to highlight these in the menu. The 2 new moves is the Frozen Aura and the Barrier of Frost. The Frozen Aura is down back 1. And that pretty much gives me damage mitigation and the ability to take no chip damage while I'm in this ice armor. You'll notice here I take no chip damage, whereas if I block the low hat normally, I'll take chip damage. Cast the barrier, no chip damage is taken. Really cool, good stuff there. We also have the Barrier of Frost. This is a parry, so again, I get this vibe that when the opponent touches me when I try and parry, so if he does a string and I parry afterwards, the opponent will get frozen. So, contrary to the Cryomancer variation, I'm getting a strong vibe here that this is extremely defensive and a game of trying to let the opponent come in and then catching him with that parry and letting him get frozen. And then if I'm full screen and the opponent's trying to zone me out or keep me far away with projectiles, instead of just sitting here taking chip damage, I can now cast my thing. And here we go, no chip damage taken. And now that will frustrate the opponent, he's now got to try and come in because he's not going to chip damage, and if he tries to come in, that's where the parries come into play. So it pretty much takes the exact same character, but gives it a much more distinct, different style of play. So if you decide that you like Sub-Zero, but you're more of a fan of this defensive style, then perhaps Unbreakable is the variation for you. We have one more final variation to go into, which is going to be Grandmaster. So we've looked at the extremely offensive style of the Cryomancer Sub-Zero, and we've looked at the extremely defensive style of the Unbreakable Sub-Zero. The final variation here is the Grandmaster style, and again, it only gives him 2 new moves. I have them tagged already, so it's down back 2 is an ice clone, and down towards 1 will throw the clone while it's active. So if we're looking at this character for the first time, we already have things like the ice ball, we have the slide, we have our combo strings, but now at any point we can throw this ice clone out to create this obstacle course. If the opponent touches it, they'll get frozen. So as a new player, what we're going to be looking at here is going, okay, so I have all of my moves anyway, but now I can throw this clone out at will. So if I put myself in a situation where I'll think the opponent will jump at me, how he's going to sprint in if he's going to jump in, I now have this one huge piece of annoyance that the opponent just has to deal with. So maybe if I throw out some kind of string here, and then instantly ice clone, he gets frozen straight away. So, without going into too much detail here, what you need to realise is that this variation will only give you 1 attack, but it's a very significant attack. So it really is a matter of just looking at this move and understanding, okay, so all 3 of these variations give me different playstyles, one of which is offensive, one of which is defensive, and this one almost seems like a hybrid, because the clone can be cast whenever you like. So the matter is, you can probably attack with it, you can throw out like a projectile for some keep away, and you can just be really defensive with it to try and bait the opponent to come in. So it's the same character, but the variations give you a lot of diversity, and that's that really.
So what did we just do there? We took one character into training mode, looked at their universal attacks, their combo strings, and then we looked at their variations. And that's all you have to do for any character in this game, to really find out how they feel and how they play. So look at the variations, try out multiple characters, find what you're really comfortable with. This game has so many options, so make sure that you're exploring them before you decide on anything concrete to really go from there. Because, you know, this game is a lot of fun, and it's all about what you enjoy and the characters that you enjoy more than anything else. So hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 1, that will be wrapping things up for now. Please join us for episode 2, in which we will be covering the game's mechanics. so the specific mechanics to Mortal Kombat X. If you do like the content, please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified as soon as episode 2 goes live. Thanks very much.